Everyone keeps telling you that in order to start a successful business, you have to do market research. And deep down inside, you know they're right. You know that you have to know who your ideal customer is. You have to create an ideal customer profile, and you've got to understand your competitors and the market that you are trying to start your business in. But I get the question all the time, all right, CP, I know that I have to do it, but nobody is telling me how to do it, how to conduct the market research. Where do I go? What tools do I use? What kind of information do I truly need in order to determine my customer and my market and if my business idea is a good one? Well, my love, fret no more, because today is the day that I teach you how to conduct market research. Today, my loves, we're diving into one of the most crucial steps of starting and launching any business, conducting market research. Whether you're just starting out or refining an existing concept, understanding your market is going to be key to your success. So stick with me to learn how to do market research that uncovers real insights and paves the way for your business idea to flourish. Let's get to work. First things first, all right, let's get into what market research really is, because a lot of people, I think, get confused about what this is, and they really do kind of dumb market research down to really only understanding the competition. And market research goes way beyond just understanding the competition. It also really involves the process of gathering information about your potential customers and the industry that you are embarking upon. So this information helps you make informed decisions, helps validate your business idea, and really truly gives you the ammunition that you need to be firing on all cylinders as a new entrepreneur. If you find yourself that you've already started a business and you're like flourishing and you have no idea what's going on and you have cast this very wide net and you just came up with this business idea and you jumped headfirst into setting up your business structure and getting your LLC and doing all of that stuff, which is pretty typical, so do not beat yourself up too much. I need you to take a pause and I need you to make sure that you go back and that you begin to dive deeper into the business idea research. And this, I can always tell when people haven't done this step. I can always tell when I'm working with a new entrepreneur or a startup entrepreneur and you have skipped this step. And I can tell because, number one, you still have 50,000 business ideas that you want to pursue. And that's okay, right? You can start with 50,000 business ideas. But a big part of narrowing down the right business idea to start with is doing the market research. And it can be daunting. It can be scary, I think, because the word research is in it and not everybody knows how to do proper research. But market research is absolutely critical. The purpose of it is to understand the customer, understand your customer needs, understand the market trends that are going on in whatever industry you are about to embark upon, and to understand what your competitive landscape looks like and where you fit into that. If you do enough research, you will identify your strong suits. You will identify what makes you different, and competition becomes non-existent. It doesn't matter if there are millions of other people out there doing what you do or doing what you want to do. If you've done a sufficient job at market research, you will easily identify who your competition is, what they are doing, and how you're different from that competition. And then you'll also really be able to tell me, this is the person that I am selling to, because there needs to be a very specific market that you are selling to in order for you to be successful. So the types of market research that exist out there, I want to dive into with you now, and exactly what types of tools you need to use in this different type, because you really do want to maximize utilization of both types. And that is primary research, which I like to call, quantitative research. And then there's also secondary research, which is qualitative. So let's dive into step number 2 before we get into that nitty-gritty, because I really need you to understand the second step in this market research process. Now, I am going to give you access to a free tool that has been absolutely instrumental in thousands of entrepreneurs' journeys, ones that I have taught in my online courses and in my coaching programs, and that is my 10 market research mistakes to avoid cheat sheet. This will absolutely 100% help you understand what you shouldn't be doing in your market research and what you don't need to focus on, because I think that one of the most overwhelming aspects of market research that entrepreneurs, especially new ones like you, will face is that there is so much information that you will uncover that you become overwhelmed, and so you just stop. And you also aren't completely certain of what you should be looking for or what you should be looking at or what you should actually be gathering. And this cheat sheet is going to absolutely 100% give you those tips and tools. So make sure that you grab it as you begin your process of market research. It's absolutely free. It is my gift to you. You can grab it at the link in the description below or in the comments, or you can go to CherylCperez.com/market research cheat sheet and grab it. So the link is going to be right here, also in the description below, and also in the first pinned comment for you to grab. And while you are down there grabbing your free gift, make sure that you like this video and that you subscribe to the channel, because this is just one of hundreds of videos that I provide you with that walks you through all the good stuff. And then also share it, because there's lots of entrepreneurs out there who need this insight and need this help and just don't know where to turn. So make sure that you do that, and let's dive into what this next step is. Now, step number 2 in your market research is for you to identify your target audience. And one of the things is, some people think that you have to know who your target audience is before you do your market research. And I would say, yeah, you have to have an idea of who would buy, your product or service that you're thinking about moving forward with. But the actual act of doing the market research is going to help you solidify that even more and niche down even more and figure out exactly who you're targeting. Knowing your customer is the number one cornerstone of effective market research. And it requires that you pinpoint who your target is, because a big part of completing your market research is going to be creating that ideal customer profile. You need to know exactly who your customer is in this process. And so when you start, you're going to have a general idea. It might be like, oh, African-American women, or oh, stay-at-home moms, or oh, black men, or Hispanic men, or sometimes people can get really, really general with the demographics of their audience, and that's perfect. That's a perfect place to start. But in this process of doing the market research, you are going to dive even deeper and discover even more detail and be able to ultimately walk away from this process with one customer. And it is so important. I know it feels counterintuitive to narrow down your market to just one customer, but I need you to think about this. It's not really one customer. It's millions of customers like this one customer. And that's who you need to make sure that you are identifying, because when you are marketing, when you are driving leads, you're talking directly to a person, right? You want to talk directly to a person, like startup entrepreneurs or like growth stage entrepreneurs. And I know the pain points of startup entrepreneurs and growth stage entrepreneurs. I know the demographics of startup entrepreneurs and growth stage entrepreneurs. And that helps me determine my products, my pricing, my marketing, my content, everything that drives those leads into my business. And so there's some steps to identifying who your target audience is. One is demographic information, and secondly, it's the psychographic information. There's 2 layers of knowing who that is. And I get more in detail into those in other videos and also into the cheat sheet, so make sure that you grab it. But those are the 2 areas that you're going to want to identify in this step, and really truly focus in and hone in on knowing everything there is to know about your ideal customer and ideal audience. So now let's get into the nitty gritty, right? Step number 3 is to conduct primary quantitative research. Quantitative research. Now, quantitative research includes the information that you get that is not going to be report-based or statistical, right? Statistics. So a lot of people go directly to all the statistics, right? You want to look up statistics on this market or statistics on this industry, and you think that that's enough. But you really also want to gather a lot of quantitative data. And the best way to gather quantitative data And that's that kind of data that you get from surveys and questionnaires. Tools like SurveyMonkey are great tools for that. Google Forms to collect quantitative information. You want to get the feelings and who they are and demographic and psychographic information directly from the customer themselves. That's why step 2 is so important. You have to identify the target audience, because you can't get the quantitative information that you need if you don't know who to ask and if you don't know where to go or what surveys to put together. And so this is that information that comes directly from the source, right? You're going to use surveys, you're going to use questionnaires. SurveyMonkey has a free version that I totally recommend to people. Google Forms allows you to get people to answer questions. You're going to also do interviews, one-on-one conversations. You can also do focus groups. You can also love what I do is to kind of snoop on social media. It's actually where I get a ton of my quantitative information, and I do that by going into Facebook groups that contain my target customer or my target audience, and I just listen. I ask questions, and they will tell you exactly how they're feeling. They'll tell you who they are, they'll tell you what their pain points and challenges are, and they'll tell you what they need in order to, solve those problems. So it helps you from a business perspective, because from that information, you're able to build out your marketing messaging. You're able to even build your products and services, and you're also able to determine what your pricing is. So if I get the question from people, I do not know what or how to create my prices, usually I have a good indication that that means that they don't know their customer well enough, because you'll definitely be able to identify a pricing range if you know your customer and if you've dug into this quantitative market research process. So that is a big step, conducting your primary quantitative research to gather the information that you need from the source. And that source is your ideal customer and your target audience that you identified in step number 2. Now, step number 4 in doing market research is to do exactly what you're thinking. Utilize secondary qualitative research. Notice that I have given primary as your quantitative, because that's the bulk of what you should be looking for and gathering. And secondary is the qualitative. It is not the other way around. Qualitative research is that research that comes from those sources that give you the statistics and give you kind of like the general thing, right? It's designed to industry reports, right? Like, so sources like Ebis World or Statista will give you statistics on things. Government publications, right? Like the Small Business Administration will be able to give you reports. There's reports that come out from all kinds of sources. HubSpot, for instance, does a great report that they pull social media data. Metricool, my favorite social media tool, does a report on people's behaviors and interactions on social media, and it will give you some information. In academic journals, like books that you've read, or specific types of tools that will give you statistical data. You want some of that data. It's absolutely important for you to be able to kind of map out and understand your market. You want to know how many consulting firms are in the industry, or how many, if you're an HR consultant, or if you're a recruiting consultant, or if you're in a sub niche, you want to make sure that you understand kind of what you're up against. And that's where those statistics come in. But again, this is just a secondary source. This is not where I want you to spend most of your time. It will send you down a rabbit hole, and it really won't give you enough information for you to kind of, have power and feel empowered to create the right products, to create the right marketing messaging, to create the right website, and to ultimately create the right pricing. But you definitely want to include it in some of your market research, because it will give you information that you need in order to be dangerous. Okay, so yeah, make sure that you've got some qualitative information in there, but do not rack your beautiful little mind and staying here too long, because it will definitely send you down a rabbit hole and even won't tell you exactly what your customer needs so that you can build your business around it. Now, again, if you want more specifics about what data you should be looking for, grab that cheat sheet. It's going to be extremely helpful. Again, it's in the description below. It's one of my favorite tools, and it's something that I'm for the first time actually giving away as a free gift. I usually only use it in my courses and with my students, so make sure that you grab it. And let's talk about step number 5, because there is another step in this whole market research thing, and that is analyzing and applying what you found in your research, right? And this is what I added this because I see so many entrepreneurs forget this step. or miss it or not do it. They go out, they gather a ton of information. I have seen people that I'm working with come to me with a notebook of information, right? And I get it. I am a nerd through and through. I love information, and I too have gathered notebooks of data. But having the data in a notebook and not looking at it and analyzing it and knowing how to use it is a big problem. So step number 5 is analyzing and applying your research finding. And it's time to figure out how all of this information will impact your business strategy. So one of the things, and there's 3 things that I really want you to do when you're looking at this data, because this is oftentimes like, what do I do with all of this information? First, I want you to focus on identifying patterns. That is absolutely critical. Look at all the patterns that you see. Look for common themes across the data. Look at the qualitative information that you received and the statistics against the quantitative data and the specifics that you've received from the source, and see where they intermesh and see where they cross over. And make a note of what all of those patterns and those commonalities and those consistencies are. Those are important for you to incorporate into your business strategy. You also want to make sure that you are segmenting the market and really diving deep into what you find and who it is that you're targeting, right? So you're going to define your niche even more from this research. You're going to really go deeper and say, all right, I found all this information that says that this is a major pain point, and I see that there really isn't anybody like me out there addressing this pain point. So I think that my business should focus in on this area and really sub-niche down. So I get this all the time from HR consultants. And one of the things I get is that they'll say, I'm an HR consultant. Well, if you've done really good market research, you will find what in HR people really need. What pain point is trending right now? So I would say that if I had to throw one out there, that a lot of businesses out there are having workforce and staffing problems, right? We all know that they are. Everything is short staffed. Customer service has become a shit show. There's not enough staff anywhere. And so right now, if I was starting my HR consulting firm all over again, I would do my market research. I would find out that my ideal customer is going to be probably business owners. And in my market research, my qualitative and quantitative data, I would find out that their biggest pain point for small businesses specifically is that they can't get, they can't hire. And so I would now be looking at going from just an HR consultant to one that specializes in recruiting for small businesses. Recruiting for small businesses. And in my market research, I might go even deeper and say, hey, I am going to specialize in recruiting for restaurateurs, because I have found that the majority of my data is showing the biggest pain point and challenge exists with restaurant owners. They cannot keep staff. And because of that, they're having to close because customers stop coming because the customer service is so bad and the wait times are so bad and all of that kind of good stuff, right? And so that's what I'm talking about when I say segmenting the market and going even further with the points that you're looking for. And then I want you to ultimately take all of this data when you're analyzing it and you're trying to figure out how to apply it and create a SWOT analysis from it. It is the first thing that I do, and it's what I do with all of my market data and all of my market research every single time. I just create a SWOT. I determine what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are, what the opportunities are out there, what the threats are, and then looking at that one sheeter, right? That one pager SWOT analysis. So I take all the data, turn it into one page, and then I say, looking at all of this, this is ultimately the business that I should be starting. Right? Based upon this is the business that I should be starting. This idea, this market segment, this target audience shows me right now from all this information that not only can I start this business and make great money right away and be able to sell it and market it and kick it off really strongly, but it's also going to have longevity and people are going to need it for years and years to come. So you understand kind of where I'm going with this. And of course, I can get a lot deeper and you will need to go a lot deeper, more than we can even go over in this video. And I got to keep it short. But that's what I mean by step 5. Make sure that you analyze the data and apply the research findings so that you can ultimately figure out how all of this information that you've gathered applies to your business strategy moving forward. So there you have it, my love. I mean, remember, the more you know about your market, the better equipped you will be to have a successful, thriving business that's actually making money, and that as soon as you launch it, people are going to buy. It's because it's a huge part of validating your business idea. And I recommend against you moving forward with a business idea when you haven't done sufficient market research. You will bump your head a lot if you do that. You will become very frustrated, and ultimately you won't know how to market, you won't know who you're marketing to, and you won't even know if the business idea that you've come up with is a good one. So get off the bandwagon. Don't pay attention to nobody else. Do not make assumptions that you know exactly what's going on, because you are not the divine, right? You are not God. You do not know. Do your research, equip yourself, empower yourself, and use what I taught you today to get that done. And don't forget to grab your free cheat sheet that I'm giving you. It is a gold mine. Description below. While you're down there, make sure that you like or subscribe and share. Let me know in the comments if you've got any questions around market research. You guys have been asking me for this video for a very long time, and so I said let me give it to them because I am kind of a market research pro. Okay, I've been doing it for a long time, and actually specialize in doing it for clients when I'm creating strategies for them. So make sure that you check it out, and until next time, my loves, thank you so much for tuning in once again. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah!